Acquiring new donors could be good for your organization. In fact, it would be great for your organization. And so many nonprofit leaders that I talk to, that seems to be a focus. How do we get new donors? And my question back to them is, let's look at your current donors, because I bet you that there's more there than you believe. Current donors are your best donors. That is our focus in this episode. Let's huddle up. Hey, before this episode starts, let me tell you a quick story. After more than 25 years of helping nonprofits raise millions in major gifts, I saw far too many leaders chasing small gifts without a plan to build real relationships with major donors. That's why I created the Relationship Fundraising Master Course, a complete online, on demand program that teaches you everything that you learn from me in live coaching, but for a fraction of the cost. Inside, you'll get 7 powerful modules of about 30 training videos covering exactly how to identify and approach major gift prospects. But it goes even deeper. You'll learn how to build a strong culture of philanthropy, how to leverage your board and help them understand their role in this relationship fundraising process. And you'll also understand how to master your message so that you're speaking the right language to your donors. It's all online, totally self paced, so that you can learn on your schedule and start implementing these principles right away. So, are you ready to transform your fundraising today? Just go to thefundcoach.com and click on the Relationship Fundraising Academy, and let's get started building the future of your organization together. Hey, welcome to another episode of Huddle Up with Mark the Fun Coach. I'm Mark Duncan. It's great to be with you as always, and I am excited to talk about this topic because sometimes, most times, our current donors are overlooked. You may be an organization that has 200, 300 people that are giving to your organization fairly regularly, but yet you're not leaning in to build relationships with them. Now, what I mean by this is these are individuals who are responding to direct mail solicitations, they're responding to email solicitations, maybe they participate in your 24-hour giving day, whether it's Giving Tuesday or a day in your community, and they're fairly loyal to your organization. In fact, anybody that gives to your organization 5 consecutive years or more, that's what I call loyals. They're your loyals. They may only be giving you 25, 50, $100. And you may be looking at those gifts and you may be saying, we need more of those donors in order to have critical mass and to get more money. And yes, you need more new donors. There's no question about that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you need to not focus on new donors. That's not the point of this episode. New donors are great. New donors, however, take time and probably longer to build relationships with. If you've got donors that have been with you for several years, these are the people you need to focus on. Now, let's talk about some of the steps that you need to take. When you are looking at your list of donors, 200, 300, right? I want you to take a look and I want you to identify your top 20 to 30 donors. Now, and I'll give you the criteria here. What you want to look for is you want to look for your loyals, people who have been consecutive donors for 5 years or more. They automatically rise to the top of the list. Then you're going to look at other donors that have given maybe once every couple of years. And you're also going to look at the size of gifts. So you're going to look at the frequency and you're going to look at the size of gifts. So if somebody's giving you $100, every time they give, maybe they give once every other year, they give $150, $200. Those folks are going to rise to the top of the list. And you're going to find about 20 or 30 of those individuals. Okay. And then what you're going to do is now you have to figure out capacity. Now, if you have heard me in a workshop or on this podcast, I always talk about the criteria that you need to identify major gift prospects. Very, very simple. Link, interest, and ability. Link to your mission, link to your organization, right? Interest in your mission, and the ability to give at a major gift level. That's what you're going to do with your top 20 to 30 donors. Okay. And what you're going to do with them to determine that is obviously link and interest is already there. The link is clear, they're donors. That's a given. Interest. You may not know what they're interested in about your mission or how strong that interest is. And most importantly, their capacity, their ability to give at a major gift level. And this is where wealth screening comes in. I say this all the time. If you're going to understand your donor base, you must know who among them has capacity. This does not mean that you ignore the rest of them. This is about prioritizing how you use your time. So you want to be spending your time as a leader, whether you're the executive director or you are the director of development, you want to be spending your time as a leader with people who are going to give significantly when you ask them, because the return on that investment of time is what's important. And it isn't about your time as it relates to your salary. It's about your time as it relates to your mission. Because what you want to do is you want to secure these 5 and 6 figure gifts from individuals who have been giving you $25, $50, $100 gift. And you may say, well, wait a minute. If they have the capacity to give 25,000, 100,000, then why aren't they doing that now? Well, I'll tell you why, because this is one of the topics that probably drives me a little crazy when I'm working with folks. Like, well, they look at the lifetime giving of a particular person, especially when they find out that that person has significant capacity through wealth screening, right? They do the wealth screening and they discern, oh my gosh, this person, I didn't realize this person had this much capacity. Why have they only given us X? Well, I'll tell you why. If you've only solicited them through direct mail, email solicitation, social media, and they've responded to that, that's a transactional giver. And that is a transactional gift. And transactional gifts are never as big as relational gifts, as major gifts. And it's because the missing piece is the relationship. It's no different than if you were to go to a car dealership. Let me rephrase that. If you were to go online looking for cars and you decided to just purchase something online, and it may not be the right car for you, there may be something wrong with it, but it was transactional. You didn't test drive it. You didn't have the benefit of a relationship with the salesperson. And so You kind of get what you pay for. Reverse that from a fundraising perspective and from a nonprofit leader perspective. If you don't invest the time and energy into building relationships, well, then you get what you pay for. You get what you put out. If you put out nothing to build those relationships and you're only soliciting them through direct mail, through email, through social media platforms, well, then you're only going to get $50, $100, maybe $150. And those donors who are giving you $150, $200, $300 online, they're testing you. Trust me when I say this to you. They're testing you. They are raising their hands and they're saying, I'm here. And if you do more, if you connect with me, if you do the right things, if you thank me, if you call me, if you ask me to coffee, there's more there. And I've heard this directly from $1 million donor's mouth. These are called teaser gifts. You're probably sitting on a ton of teaser gifts right now. You probably have donors that have been giving you $250, $300, maybe $500. And you're probably, oh, that's great. Thank you. And they've done it in a very transactional way. But you haven't taken the next step. And so those $250, $300 gifts, $500 gifts, they'll keep coming. But if you take the time and do the right thing, you can convert that $500 gift into a $50,000 gift. Now, if you find yourself, you're probably saying, okay, yeah, I know that there are some people that I need to get to know. And I haven't done anything in a very long time to connect with them. Well, let's talk about how you can rekindle those relationships with those donors. These are donors that have been with you for a long time. And so you might want to reach out to them, and that could be through an email or a phone call. And you could say something like, hey, I was going through our records. Your name jumped out at me. I know it's been a while since we've chatted. Um, and that's on me, right? Take responsibility for that. I'd love to catch up. I'd love to hear what's new in your world. And I also want to share a little bit about some exciting things that are happening here at our organization. Could we find some time to chat, right? Try to get on a phone call, perhaps with them first. So, we find 20 minutes to chat. And that phone call can then turn into setting up a coffee or a lunch. Very simple. Very, very simple. Take the responsibility. You're busy. They understand that. They know you're doing good work. They're giving to your organization, which means they trust you as a leader and they trust what you're doing for the people that you serve. If you want to convert that trust into larger gifts, you have to do this. You have to rekindle relationships with those old donors. Very, very simple. Very, very simple to do. And so I highly, highly recommend if you're sitting there, oh, I haven't talked to this person in years, just send them an email. Hey, thought about you. Looking at some lists. Realized I hadn't talked to you in some time. That's on me. Would love to catch up with you. You have time for a quick chat. Or that could be in a phone call. Do you have time for a quick coffee? Take ownership and move forward. Your board also plays a significant role in this as well. Because your board can also help connect you with some of your donors, maybe whom you've never spoken. People who are on your list that have been giving that you don't have a relationship with at all, but maybe your board members know them. Ask your board members, those individual board members, to make the connection. Hey, I know you've been giving to our organization for some time. As you know, I serve on the board. Would love to, arrange coffee with you and our executive director and me so that you can meet them and get to know what's happening at the organization a little bit more. Would you be open to that? It's that simple. All from your current donors, all from your current lists, not going out, buying lists, buying mailing lists, buying email lists, and cold mailing these people because they match in some way their giving to organizations like yours. Not saying don't do that, but do not rely on it. That sort of acquisition model can be helpful, but understand that when you start that process, you're always going to be at a loss, especially if you're doing direct mail. You may do a direct mail campaign to lists of names that you've purchased, may cost you $3,000. You send that mailing out, I guarantee you'll get a fraction of that in giving back, which is a loss. It's okay, because I'll tell you a quick story about that. It's okay if that happens. Yes, on the surface, it's a loss, but I do want you to look at those people who did give. Because if you've got a 3-figure gift in there from an individual that has never given to you before, has not known about you before, you got to pay attention to that, because you can convert that gift into a major donor. So do the wealth screening and all that. So it's really about getting to know your people, your donors, your current donors. They are your best donors. Start there. You want to see your philanthropic support grow? Take a look at the people that are right under your nose. They've been giving to you every year in a small way, but it's up to you to identify those diamonds that you can cultivate into gifts that are significant, 5-figure, 6-figure gifts, and building a long-term trusting relationship with those individuals. So focus on your current donors. Stop worrying about new donors. Yes, they're going to come. There are ways for you to secure new donors, but don't abandon those folks that are right in front of you. Start there. That is your buried treasure. Unearth it. Build those relationships, reconnect, rekindle those relationships with donors that you haven't spoken to in years. Use your board to introduce you to people who have been giving to you who you haven't met, or just call them. Hey, I noticed you've been giving consecutively for a number of years, and I just want to call, introduce myself, and say thank you. Do you have time for coffee? Start at home, and I guarantee you will see your philanthropic support grow exponentially. And as you're developing those relationships, you can also be introduced to their friends who also have capacity, and start to get new donors who can become major gift donors right away. So I hope this has been helpful to you. It's not that expensive to spend time on the people that are already yours. Now, if you're listening to this and you're a startup organization, I certainly understand, well, this doesn't really apply to me. But you got to start somewhere if you are a startup. And this is where recruiting the right people to be on your board at the outset is really, really critical. You need people on your board. You're a startup. A little sidebar here. If you're a startup, you need people on your board who care deeply about your mission. I call these the 4 C's. They care deeply about your mission. They have capacity themselves to make a major gift. They're connected to others who can make a major gift. So, connected to others with capacity. And they're comfortable introducing you to them. Now, that's just criteria related to fundraising. There are other things that you probably, other qualities you want to look at as board members, areas of expertise that may be needed, whether it's legal, marketing, financial, all of those things. Certainly want to identify board members who have those skills. And I'm going to tell you, if you're a startup nonprofit, you're just getting started, and you need those 3 names to fill out the 1023. Please think about starting your board strong right off the bat. So many organizations will put down 3 people that they know, including themselves, and start. And once you start that way, it's hard to reshape it. So be smart at the beginning. Sidebar for startups. For organizations that have a few hundred donors, focus there and watch your philanthropy grow. And as always, this fundraising thing, it's not about the dollars. It's about what the dollars do for the people that you serve. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.